Hi, it's Helen Tarrant. Hi, welcome. Helen Tarrant here for another episode of Commercial Property Roadshow. I'm here in Maroochydore, and so you can see the lovely beach behind me, but I'm here to give you a few more tips on commercial property, and then I'm off to an inspection. So I am going to share with you, can anyone really get into commercial property? Now there's this myth in the market that you have to be well off, you have to know and be really high educated, know all the specifics about leases, contracts and everything else to get into commercial property, and that it has to, and the price point is much higher. But you see, that's not the case. Some of my students have bought properties that's even $150,000 in really well metro or really well located hub areas, and they've still made a capital gains and a cash flow over time as well. See, the key is to know where to buy, how to buy, and really understand what you're looking for in commercial property. Now sometimes, and this is absolutely true, you can actually find a commercial property that is going to be cheaper than your residential property. Now let me show you how that works. Now sometimes if you were looking at buying, let's say, one of these apartments here in Maroochydore, now I'm not quite sure exactly how much they are, but let's just say they're around $400,000 for a two-bedder here. You know, maybe with water views they're going to be a little bit more, but let's say they're about 400, and they've got the mountain view here. Now with that property of $400,000, if you go out and rent that property, perhaps you should be able to get maybe, let's say, anywhere between $400 to $500 a week if you're lucky. So that makes around $25,000 a year. Now in order for you to get a loan on that property probably already cost you on an interest only basis $20,000 a year. So by the time you take out your strata fees, your council fees, or your rates, you're going to find that you are actually not making any money. But if you use the same $400,000 and buy maybe a shop front or an office space in Maroochydore, what you might actually find is that that property might be giving you somewhere around 6.5% to 7% yield. Now on a $400,000 property, that means about $28,000 net coming through. Now your tenants are paying outgoings on top of that, which means that because your tenant's paying outgoings, it means that you can now put that money in your pocket. So if you're paying the same $20,000 in interest only loans, you now have an extra $8,000 to put into your pocket because your tenant is paying for the outgoings. So if you compare apples with apples, sometimes it's actually cheaper for you to get into a suburb and give you more cash flow in your pocket by buying commercial than residential. The other thing is, in areas like a Sunshine Coast where it's going a little bit inland, or that it goes, or you might want to go to a little further out, a little bit of a hub, so not buying right in the center of Maroochydore, but something maybe 20 minutes drive from there, or another suburb. You might find there's properties around $250,000, so a little warehouse there, or you might find properties that even at $150,000 for a small office space. So if you are the lower end of the market and you want to get started in commercial property, this is a really great way to get started. Sometimes you're looking at an area and you're looking at residential and you go, look, I really can't afford it. Look at the commercial. Look at the commercial, so that, because maybe with the commercial you can get into the property market that way. And if you are getting into the property market with the same demographic growth, the same indicators, and you're getting some cash flow, then really is not much different from residential. And in fact, you have a lot more to gain, a better ROI for your money. Now, please, if you are thinking of doing that and you're starting out with your first commercial property, I encourage you to go to helentarrant.com, download my ebook there. I also encourage you to listen to my webinar and watch my other videos so you really learn the basics of commercial property, because you don't need a lot of education and you don't need heaps and heaps of money, but you just need the foundation so that you are aware of what you need and what you want and why that commercial property is important to you in your journey. So until next time, please subscribe and click the bell, and I will see you on the next video.